started a print-on-demand business towards the end of 2022, and 2023 was my first full calendar year. And my first year actually working with a tax professional for my business and understanding everything that there is to know about that aspect of having a print-on-demand business. While I still had a little bit of income in the end of 2022 when I had started, it wasn't a ton of transactions and I was able to just do it all by myself. But going into 2023, I quickly realized that this side hustle, hobby type venture I started wasn't really that, and it was more so an actual business. And so I wanted to wait to do this video until I was done with filing my taxes and working with a tax professional so that I could share my experience and just what I've learned about that aspect of having a print-on-demand business. Disclaimer, I am not a tax professional, nor is this tax or business advice. This is just a video that was highly requested, and I figured it would be helpful for me to share my experience because I also did make some mistakes along the way that I wanted to share as well. So hopefully you don't make the same mistakes that I did. I feel like there's a lot that I learned about the financial, tax, business side of having a print-on-demand business, or really just having a business in general, that I learned in this last year. And so I'm really excited to share all of that information with you. If you are new to my channel, my name is Taylor, and my channel is focused on all things passive income and print on demand. So if those are two things that interest you, be sure to boop the subscribe button down below. What's important to understand first is how payment works on Etsy. Etsy is where I host my print on demand business. You can have a print on demand business on your own website as well, such as opening up a Shopify store. And I imagine that this is probably something similar, as they have their own fees and things of that nature, but I'm going to be breaking it down just for how it works with Etsy. So essentially, when I make a sale in my shop on Etsy, Etsy collects that revenue. It automatically remits the sales tax, and it takes out of that revenue all of the Etsy fees that are associated with me having an Etsy account and essentially using Etsy as my platform. All of that is automatically taken out, and then what Etsy deposits into my account is the remaining revenue, which is essentially my income. Now, depending on how much of this income that you receive, or in my case, what I received, because I received over a certain threshold, Etsy issued me a 1099 form. The threshold for this can vary from year to year. So in this past tax year for 2023, it was over $20,000. And because my print-on-demand business earned over $20,000 in revenue, I was issued the 1099 form. But it is likely that that threshold is actually going to be changed in this next coming year to $600. So that is something to make a note of if you are anticipating that you are going to make over $600 in revenue in your shop, then you may also be issued that 1099 form for the 2024 tax year. Essentially, what a 1099 is and does is it means that Etsy's reporting the income that you received from them to the IRS. If you do receive that 1099 form, you're easily able to download it in your Etsy account. You want to make sure that you have this form and present this form to whoever is the tax professional that is handling your taxes. If you are making below the threshold that Etsy is required to report, you are still obligated to report that income on your own when you're filing your taxes. So even if you made less than that $20,000 as the threshold was this past year, and say, for example, you made $10,000, that is still income that you are required to report. Any of the income that is deposited into your account from Etsy is considered your gross income, and it does not have taxes taken out of it, nor does it have your product costs or expenses taken out of it either. And the number that you do see on your 1099 might look a little bit different than what your total revenue looks like on your Etsy dashboard. This is because it takes into consideration all of your sales, shipping, refunds, card processing fees, and your canceled orders. So if the numbers that you're seeing seem to be off a little bit, that might be why. You are responsible for reporting your income from Etsy, and a tax professional is who can help assist you with this process. I highly recommend working with a CPA that might be local to you that can really help to make sure that you are doing everything appropriate when it comes to the taxes and what you owe for your business. As far as what you will actually owe for taxes really can vary by individual. I can only speak on my experience, but the general advice that I was given is saving about 30% of any of the income that I receive. Saving this 30% actually was over saving for me, so I ended up having a lot more saved than what I actually had to pay for my taxes this year, which for me felt like a bonus to myself, and I much rather have oversaved than undersaved. Now again, this is just what worked for me. An individual experience is going to vary because of different write-offs. For example, if you have children, if you have a home, or there's tons of other things that a actual accountant will have more information on for what you can get tax write-offs and deductions for. But what is important to know is that you only pay taxes on your net profit, which is your gross income minus your expenses. I learned that expenses can include things like your product cost or material. So with print on demand, I was paying Printify as one of my main print providers, and all of the costs for the products that I sold within their catalog, that was tax deductible or a write-off because it was an expense for my business. Another expense could be continuing education. So if you invested in a course or a community or any other resources to run your business and learn more about it, as well as mock-ups, any sample orders that you may have purchased, any subscription fees. So if you're using any research softwares like Everbee or eRank, advertising fees if you're running Etsy ads, and devices such as a laptop, a computer, any office furniture, tech equipment like your mouse, keyboard, anything that would be directly involved with what you need to run your business. It is very important that you are tracking all of this income as well as these expenses come tax season. You want to be saving any receipts for anything that you think might apply and fall under the different types of expenses that you can write off for your business. This is where I found having a bookkeeper was an extremely important investment in my business, but in general, just having some sort of financial management system, whether you're using a platform like QuickBooks, or if you have potentially an Excel file that you are able to manually track all of this information. And this can be really great in the beginning as you are learning about your business, starting to learn the profit, loss, income, expense, all of those different components to it. But I will say from my experience with time, and when you begin having hundreds to thousands of transactions each month, it can be well worth it to have a bookkeeper take care of this for you. If you're at a place in your business where you feel it's time for you to invest in a bookkeeper, be sure to find a bookkeeper that is familiar with e-commerce, print on demand, or even drop shipping. This isn't necessarily the best time to choose Great Uncle Larry, who's been doing the family taxes for 60 years, unless Great Uncle Larry is well versed in this type of business model. I can only speak on my experience, but with my first time hiring a bookkeeper, I didn't really do a ton of research, and I hired somebody who just wasn't educated in print on demand and this business model. And that actually ended up being a costly mistake for me because they weren't familiar with what they were doing. I had thousands and thousands of transactions that they were trying to sort through, and my books ended up being incorrect, as well as this individual also significantly overcharged me, which I learned after I hired a better bookkeeper that just was more in line with what I needed and what I was looking for my shop. A bookkeeper's role is to balance all of your income and expenses and have it done for you in an organized way. That way you are able to look at all of the money in and money out for your business at a glance. This is very important come tax time, so you have all of that income and expenses, and you have exactly what you need to make filing taxes significantly easier. QuickBooks is the first bookkeeping type software that I invested into and can be a really great starter tool for somebody looking to take their bookkeeping up to just the next level from maybe an Excel sheet that they were using previously. And what I really liked about using QuickBooks is I was able to sync all of my business accounts into QuickBooks, such as my business checking, my business savings. I have a business credit card, and I was able to sync those transactions as well. Also, Etsy does integrate with QuickBooks. So with that being said, when you connect all of these different accounts, it is already manually entering all of the information such as the income that you're receiving from Etsy, your revenue, your fees, processing fees, as well as what you're paying for your print providers because you're linked into your different business accounts as well. But that does bring up the topic of business accounts and having a separate checking account for your business. Of course, it is extremely important to be tracking all of your expenses, but it makes it a lot easier, and this is me speaking on experience, to have a separate account for all of your business transactions. This is another mistake that I made when I first started my shop. I was not treating my business like a business from day one, and many people do this. I've learned that I wasn't alone in this, but I didn't think that the small sales that I was seeing in the beginning were substantial enough for me to treat it or even consider it as a business. It wasn't until a few months later where I felt like I was earning enough revenue and seeing enough sales to actually begin treating it like a business. But what I learned is the months where I had intertwined all of my expenses and all of my deposits with my personal checking account, because that's what I was doing. I had everything getting paid for out of my personal bank account, and then I was receiving the deposits into my personal bank account. So you would see transactions in my bank statements from Printify and Etsy and then Dunkin' Donuts or just wherever else I was spending money. The issue with this is it made it extremely tedious and difficult when it came time to sort through what I was paying, what I was earning. It made it very difficult to even understand what my profit was because it was so intertwined and intermingled with every other expense that I had in my personal life. And so my best tip, if you get anything from this video, is to have a separate account for your business. Whether you think it's a business or not, having a separate account is going to make filing taxes regardless so much easier. This could look like just having a separate checking and maybe a separate savings account, as well as I mentioned, having a business credit card. Because with print on demand, you are often fronting the money or paying for the production of your products to be made prior to actually receiving that deposit from Etsy of your income or your revenue. That is where a business credit card can be extremely helpful because you don't have to worry about spending money out of your own pocket in order to start the production of the item. So what I personally do with my business is I put all of my transactions and all of my expenses on my business credit card. And then once a week, I go in and look at my card, look at the balance, and I just pay off the balance with my checking account where I'm receiving all of the deposits from Etsy. And then essentially the difference between the two is my profit, and that's what I get to keep into my account and then set aside money for taxes. And that's where having that separate savings account can also be beneficial. I will have linked in the description the business credit card that I do use. I absolutely love this business card. It earns me points back. And so with the points that I've been able to accumulate with my card, I've been able to get flights for free, book hotels for free, do a ton of travel because of money that I'm already spending in my business. So it's really great to have a business card or just a credit card of some sort that you're able to earn points, because basically then you're able to make money off of the money that you're spending. The last thing to consider is whether or not you choose to be an LLC or a sole proprietor. Either one is perfectly fine to do with a print-on-demand business, but the reason that somebody would get an LLC is an LLC essentially provides you protection over your personal assets. So in an example with print-on-demand, where that might be applicable is if you had a product, you sold that product, and the individual who bought that product chose to sue you. Or, not that this is something that anybody would ever do, but if you were accidentally creating and selling something that was trademarked and you potentially were sued by the owner of that trademark, This is where having an LLC can protect you, because essentially when somebody sues an LLC, they are suing the assets of the LLC and not the assets of an individual. As well as when it comes to filing taxes, there are different elections that you can make when you have an LLC in order to get certain tax benefits that working with a tax professional, they can help you out with so that you are able to make the most out of your business. If you do choose to get an LLC, at that point, you are required to separate your business expenses from your personal expenses. Regardless, as I shared, it is very important that you are separating your business and personal expenses for the sake of filing your taxes and making sure that everything is accounted for properly, but you technically don't have to do so if you are just a sole proprietor. It's more so just a best practice. Whereas once you do get to that LLC and become an actual business in the signs of your state, at that point, you are required to treat it like a business, and that means having those separate accounts. This is what I personally did. I filed for my LLC and became official last year, towards the beginning of the year, as it just made the most sense for what my long-term goals were in growing my business. You can register for an LLC on your state's website, or what I use and recommend is Taylor Brands. I used Taylor Brands because I had no idea what the frick I was doing, and they made it so much easier than what my state's website looked like and how I was trying to navigate it. It was very confusing. Taylor Brands made it very seamless and very simple. So they helped me set up my LLC, filed all the paperwork with the information that I gave them for my business, as well as they made sure that I had everything that I need, such as an EIN number. An EIN number is essentially a social security number for your business. It's something that you will need when it comes time to filing your taxes, filing your business's taxes. But where this is confusing that I learned is that you do not get your EIN number the same time that you file for your LLC. Getting an EIN number is something that you actually get separately after your LLC is created. At least that's how it was for me. So basically what Taylor Brands did for me is once my LLC became registered and active, because it does take a little bit of time often for your state to approve your LLC. Once that happens though, Taylor Brands recognized that, filed for my EIN, and I was able to get all of that in a easy, quick, seamless manner. I know that this is a beefy topic, and so I'm sure that there's things that I didn't even touch on or left out that you might still be curious about. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Again, this is not tax advice, business advice. This is just my experience and what I've learned. I hope that it helps you. Be sure to bookmark or save this video so that you can come back to it next year. As always, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one.